What's going on, everybody? I'm recording this video just a couple days before I leave for the NARBC Tinley Park Reptile Show. And this article got my attention about a week ago after I saw a video clip of a guy supposedly wrangling a 7-foot boa constrictor on his property in Palm Beach County, Florida. Apparently, in the video clip, I don't know, obviously this guy doesn't know his snakes too well. So we're gonna get into this article, and I'm gonna try and make this as quick as I can. So police were called in Palm Beach County to a neighborhood where apparently a guy was for work one morning, and in his driveway there was a 7-foot boa literally just chilling on his driveway there. I'll show you guys what I mean by this. Let's see if I can find the video of the guy wrangling it. Okay, I guess not. Never mind that. So, anywho though, let's see if we can read up where it happened. So, and of course this is in South Florida, which is no surprise. I mean, how many exotic animals are there in the state of Florida in the wild? I think quite enough. Anyway though, back to what I'm discussing here. A Florida man was on his way to work actually at a high-end Louis Vuitton store and was delayed by a 7-foot boa just chilling in his driveway. And an anxious neighbor who actually told police he was actually going to shoot the snake with his gun. Kind of glad nobody did that here, because by the looks of the snake, it more looks like somebody's escaped pet. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. The man that actually wrangled the snake named Jay Slagle, or Slagle, whatever your last name is. I apologize if I mispronounced it. Jay Slagle, who has actually been living in the neighborhood here in this Palm Beach County neighborhood for over 20 years. He was 65 years old, a senior citizen. He actually saw the snake from his second-story window back on March 1st, and by the time he got downstairs, it had casually stretched out to its full length and appeared to be in no hurry to go anywhere. So really, like I said, this snake was pretty much just chilling, probably getting some sun on the tarmac there in the driveway. And again, like I said, this is in South Florida. Nothing unusual about this whatsoever. There are so many exotic invasive species down there, and obviously boa constrictors, or common boas, there also, unfortunately, are invasive species. However though, there is no documentations of any of the common boas breeding population expanding all over South Florida. It's pretty much only in one very small area, particularly right around like the Palm Beach, Miami area. So really, the snakes don't really pose a serious threat to the native ecosystem, like into the Everglades, compared to like Burmese pythons, which have been a complete problem for decades. A Florida Museum of Natural History website said boa constrictors live wild in Florida possibly as far back as the 1970s, but have only one established breeding population in and around the Charles Deering Estate in Miami. Like I said, particularly Miami, and not really a serious threat to the ecosystem. And in the video clip that some people probably shared online of the guy wrangling the boa, the gentleman that was wrangling the snake, clearly he didn't exactly know what kind of snake he was handling. But it's anybody that has studied snakes, you know, for a short time, obviously would be able to kind of know the difference between a boa constrictor and a Burmese python. They are also completely two different snake species here. Python hunter Taylor Stranberry, who won the $10,000 grand prize in the 2025 Florida Python Challenge, identified the snake as a boa constrictor after seeing a photo and video of it. Two other reptile experts agreed it was also a common boa. Stranberry also operates a venomous snake relocation program with her husband. She said it can be hard for a layperson to know the differences between one big snake and another. Like I said, you know, it is common for people to misidentify snakes that doesn't really know the species too well, and that's why there's many, you know, animal people out there that really have worked with animals for years, you know, that like to do education programs to educate the public, you know, between the truths and the myths about these animals, you know, like from telling stories of folklore legends to scientific facts about them. It's basically common knowledge here. While Burmese pythons have bold, dark blotches on their skin like a giraffe, boa constrictors have a more hourglass-shaped markings on skin that is a tan, light brown, grayish brown, or cream colored. Stranberry suspects the boa in the man's driveway was somebody's escaped pet. Depending on the type, boa constrictors could cost from under $100 to more than $1,000. Boa constrictors are not a prohibited species in Florida, but it is illegal to release non-native animals into the wild. Now, you guys did hear that correctly. Yes, in the state of Florida, you are legally allowed to own a pet boa there. But you cannot release it into the wild, though, because it is illegal. And, like I said earlier before, there's a small breeding population of them in this little estate in the city of Miami. So, therefore, it's not something very smart to do it. No matter how many times we say this online, you know, there's always irresponsible pet owners out there that they just sometimes one day think they can't just take any responsibility of taking care of their pet animal, whether it's a cat, dog, or a big snake. And sometimes people just dump them out into the wild because they just think it's the easiest way. But reality, that is the worst way to you know, get rid of your animal. That's the worst way possible. In Florida, as far as I know, I've been to Florida plenty of times. I have visited several places in Florida where they have like wildlife sanctuaries, you know, for any either wild caught animals or captive produced animals, you know, people don't want anymore. Now, of course, the man in the video that was actually filming the python, he stated he was about to shoot it, but he decided not to because he didn't want to risk getting charged for discharging a firearm in a residential area, which is actually a pretty smart idea here. Now, I'm pretty sure even if he did discharge the firearm, I think maybe a couple of his neighbors would come out and concern like what was going on, and if they see what he was doing in the driveway, most people would just be like shrugging their shoulders like, man. But thankfully though, I'm glad this guy actually did not decide to go that route. And they actually managed to call authorities to help remove the snake humanely as possible. And by the looks of this and description of the snake, it does appear to be somebody's escaped pet. I mean, I'm hoping it was accidentally escaped and not intentionally dumped. I hope not anyway. Like I said, people that intentionally dump pet animals, they piss me off. But yeah, this is a common boa, it looks like in this picture here, possibly here. But the pixels on it make it difficult to tell. But like I said, boas, you are legally allowed to own a boa constrictor in the state of Florida. But I think it exactly depends on what exact species. If it's an anaconda, that one is probably excluded because they are considered a potential invasive species in South Florida. But so far, there's no documentations of any of them existing in the wild or breeding. So far, but like I said, it's Florida. They probably want to prevent any other tropical exotic animals from, you know, being dumped into the wild. So Slagle was able to shovel the snake into a trash bin with the help of a police officer. He said he estimated it weighed as much as 30 pounds. A local officer present at the scene called a trapper to fetch the snake. Owners of exotic pets who can no longer care for the animals can contact FWC's Exotic Pet MSD program by emailing them. Okay, so like I said, if there's anybody in Florida that's watching this video, and I pray to God you are paying attention to this, if you have an exotic pet reptile or any animal that is exotic, please go ahead, and if you are looking for some place to rehome it, and if nobody's interested, go ahead and contact this place. Like they said, it's FWC's Exotic Pet Program. I'll go ahead and take a screenshot here and show you guys what it looks like. And it's something I recommend that if anybody is really not interested in caring for animals anymore, try and do something humane instead of just doing something so easy, but it can really come with severe consequences, like dumping it into the wild where it doesn't belong. There's always got to be other alternative solutions out there. So honestly, I'm kind of glad at the end of the day, this escaped pet boa, which I'm like, again, I don't know if this is 100% if it was, but it sounds like it sounds like it probably was somebody's escaped pet here. So, and the good news is, in the good light here, this snake was not euthanized whatsoever, and I guess it was taken into hopefully an animal sanctuary. And who knows, maybe the owner will maybe find this snake online, and maybe we'll get a hold of them, and maybe he might want his snake back. But I don't know. So really, that concludes this story, everyone. I really didn't have much to do today. I mean, because I'm practically here by myself in the house for the night, but like I said, here in a couple days, I'm going to be leaving for the Tinley Park Reptile Show, and if any of you guys are going to be there at the show, feel free to say hi to me if you guys want to, and want to be featured in my video. Just feel free to check it out. But anyways, though, I'm going to go ahead and get some sleep here, and I'll be on the road here in the next video, everybody. See you guys in Tinley Park.